Hi everyone, it's Libby from Maighstir Tarot. I'd like to acknowledge the Worimi First Nations people. It's W-O-R-I-M-I, and welcome to you, your guides, my guides, and the universal energies. Right, appears the video that I mentioned very briefly in one of yesterday's videos about MTG putting out a big board, etc. is AI generated. I do apologise. I should check these things a little bit closer. If I'm actually doing a reading on something, I will check closer, but that was just a bit of a throwaway comment. But speaking of AI, I have posted in my post section, if you click on the little pink circle or Maighstir Tarot under any video, it'll take you to the main page and you'll find the post section. There is a TikTok video on there. Now, I don't have a TikTok account. I'm not on it in any way, shape or form, but I can still access that video from my laptop. I can't from my phone, but I can from my laptop, which very clearly shows how AI is being used for the media releases with the orange twerp to do what they call morphing. So where videos or recordings are cut and pasted back together, they do a little AI thingy morphing in over those two that join, and what will happen is the AI then creates several frames that supposedly connect the two spliced together segments. Really interesting video. It's not a political video at all, but yeah, it explains a lot. It explains a lot. Anyhow, entertainment only. What else have we got happening today? What else have we got happening today? We are, I'm going to say, absolutely in this nightmarish time where we have to decide at our core base level what is fundamentally important to us. Let the rest go, because we need to go through this period for it to be transformational. Know that the White Raven is coming here to dispel all this darkness, and it is very much about deciding what is important to you to hold on to. It's one of those, whether it be possessions, whether it be thought processes, whether it be what you want in your community and in your environment, what is important as we are on this new journey with the Fool card. So we've got the Tower and then the Fool as I poker shuffle. And this Fool is very much about trusting that the universe has got your back in regards to this. Know that this is the journey that you are meant to be on, and trust that the universe has got your back, and lean into your guidance. So what do I want to have a look at in this particular reading? Well, the US is not the only country in the world that's having issues at the moment. And I want to have a look at just in general democracies. So will governance, and I'm not saying government, I'm saying governance, this is about for the people. Will democratic governance change to what the people want? The ruling for the people, not for the corporations, not for building as in swelling up the economy, not for profits, not for the wealthy individuals, etc. Will governance change to what the people want around the world? Democratic governance. So France is having massive protests, understandably. So is the UK, so is Spain, so is Indonesia, so is Nepal, so is the US, a lot of countries around the world. I can't name them all because they're just significant. And this is very much about the people demanding governance for the people. Whew, this is big energy. Okay, let's have a look. If you're wondering what deck I'm using, it's the Light Seers Tarot. Beautiful, beautiful deck. Okay, so a bit of a positive reading to finish up on, or I hope so. Will the Democrat countries see the shift towards governing for the people? And that's why people like Farage and Le Pen and the whatever the one FS D or something in Germany, I can't remember. This is why these radical MAGA as well, these radical outliers are gaining strength because they claim, now we know that they're not that way inclined. They're actually after peasant classes and lord overruling and all the rest of it. That we know that's what they're actually for, but what's happening is they've managed to plug into the rhetoric of the disenfranchised who feel that they are not being heard in a lot of these countries. So they're plugging into that. Doesn't mean that's actually what they stand for, because they speak with forked tongues out of both sides of their mouths. They're just telling the people what they want to hear. We are now at the opportunity to manifest the future that we want, and it's about working out how we are going to bring it about as we are doing so. This is not a we stop this one day and the next day something else starts. So I do want to see whether the democratic governances around the world are actually up to the task. And what did I just see? The world card around, the Empress card, sorry. This is about birthing the new. So let's something for a little, and there's the talk about some major arcana coming out. The High Priestess, what's hiding in behind there? The Hermit, another major arcana. Bringing forward your light and starting on the path that you want, which does mean taking action, being part of the taking action as we are in this new energy. And as I look on the bottom, I've got these two cards, the Magician, the ability to manifest and restoring balance. So that makes me kind of hopeful, but let's have a look. Let's have a look. The future. So what's happening in Nepal, if you haven't heard about it, I believe the elected government there was trying to really stifle social media because they didn't want word getting out about what was happening around the rest of the world and within Nepal, etc. They didn't like the power going in, being taken up by the people on social media. Let me put it that way. So we're talking about the Gen Zs and those around the Gen Z generation. The Nepalese government did not want, they wanted to keep this propaganda power. Let me put it that way, propaganda power. So the Nepalese people, especially the younger people, said, don't think so over your body. Burnt the Prime Minister's home to the ground, stripped the finance minister naked and chased him through the streets, or however that went. They're really getting angry about that. Similar with Indonesia. The people are fed up. The government in Indonesia, I believe, gave themselves yet another pay rise and some more perks, which I believe is about, the perks alone were about 10 times the average wage in Indonesia. And the people have risen up there in regards to the blatant corruption as well. In France, yes, they're pushing back on the France at the moment's very much going down the cutting of funding of services, etc., for the people, while we're watching places like Amazon, Facebook, the big conglomerates basically pay no tax whatsoever. So yeah, they're having a big pushback in France as well, standing up for the people, and nobody can protest like the French. Holy crumbs, when do they trundle out the the little swordy thing? Okay, so let's have a look. Will the governments around the world be able to shift towards, I am getting France is actually going to be one of the first that make this shift. Will they? I suspect, I mean, there's rumblings in Sweden as well, but if we have a look at, this is about, paying your teachers properly, not having private schools, but having really good quality public schooling. This is about looking after your elderly with proper care. This is healthcare, etc. So will governments around the world be able to shift into this new energy of this new era of demanding? Okay, let's have a look. Right. The Knight of Pentacles. I think so, but it is going to be a steady process. Slow, steady, solid government, dependable, solid government. But yes, we do have movement forward here. It's not going to happen overnight. Or to quote a famous New Zealand advertisement, it won't hippen overnight, but it will hippen. So, good old Rachel Hunter. Yeah, I think it is. It's a movement forward towards this, where it is about more money for basic needs. Oh, I love this card on the bottom. We've got the Ace of Cups. I'm just going to lean over here and go, dunk. Stop licking, Bindi. Need to give your feet a wash. New beginning, new emotional beginning, new partnership beginning, a fertile beginning on the bottom here, bought with integrity and compassion on the bottom. I think yes. I think they are. Might not be all. Some might drag their heels a bit. But yes, we've got movement towards that. This is what the people are demanding. However, the challenge is the Seven of Cups. Do not get caught up in the smoke and mirrors and propaganda of the toxicity, because if we do, we won't be able to see our path forward. So that's going to be the challenge. This is about the Le Pens, the Farages, the Orange Twerps, now I'm not saying Starmer or anybody's perfect, or Macron or anybody like that, but this is going to be the challenge to this moving forward, is not get caught up in the emotional propaganda. This is the blaming of others. This is the this is the hate and the racism and the spewing forth of all that is toxic, that clouds the emotional judgment of going forward. So just be aware of that. That's going to be a really big challenge. And I'm talking about not just for the government, but for the people to discern the path forward without getting caught up in this bile. Okay, let's see where we go. The energy underneath this is, well, it's got pause, stop, go, as Danny Shea likes to call it. Very much about working together to create something beautiful, but also working from the bottom up, not just the top down. This is about the people working together for what they want, not expecting and waiting for the government to tell you what you will have. Okay? So it's a stop-go sign, but it's out of order. We normally have green, orange, red. I'm not quite sure how it is in other parts of the world, but it's a bit out of order. The order, the process is a bit out of order. There might be some stops and starts. There might be some hiccups along the way, but this is very much about the bottom up, telling the government what they need and want, not the government telling the people what we supposedly need and want, which most of the time they get wrong anyhow. In the past, the Eight of Swords. In the past, we may have felt like there was nothing that we could do, that we had no voice, no choice. But we do. This is just an illusion that has been spun to us by those at the top of the pyramid, the 0.1% or whatever, that we don't have a voice, we don't care, we have to do what we're told, we're tied up, and that's just tough. Whereas in reality, we're not. the power is ours to demand what we want. But this is in the past, the illusion of being unable to move forward. But it is just an illusion. That's why this propaganda, we've got to be really careful of this propaganda, because they want to keep us in this energy. But we're not. We're not going to stay in this energy. This is past energy. This is old energy. This is the dying of the dictatorship conglomerates telling the population what to do. I'm actually just going to pause there for a minute, because I'm also just going to mention something as well. I was watching, I think it was last night I was watching, Time Team, love Time Team, old Time Team, and it was about a battle that happened between the royalists and the government supporters, or whatever it was, the King James I period. And literally there was this major battle. There were 30 people on this side and there was 200 people on this side. This was considered a major battle. So I'm talking about the times. But what happened back then as well, it was very much neighbour against neighbour, county against county. It's very much what is happening in the world at the moment as well. So what is happening is nothing is new. However, back in those days, life was even more expendable. But it was a fight of democracy versus monarchy. That's what we're going through at the moment as well. Horrific times. Fascinating documentary. It's something about the massacre in the cellar or something, if you wanted to watch it. But it is just pointing out that what we're going through is nothing new. It's been absolutely horrific in the past, but we do get through it. I think what happened then is actually the monarchy won, but we're not going to let the monarchy win this time, are we? I'm not talking about actual monarchs like King Charles and Queen Mary and King Frederick and all the rest of it, but I'm talking about these wannabe dictators. Okay, so come on down. Let's keep going with this. The energy over this reading is the Hermit. Each and every single one of us, it does not matter what position you're in, either age, society, race, religion, it is very much about deciding what you can bring forth, but not staying in isolation. This is about coming down out of this safe space. Now, I'm not saying, when I'm talking about safe space, I'm not talking about those that are being targeted getting out on the streets or anything. That's very much about us old white women sticking Mexican flags on the backs of our cars to waste the time of the authorities. Absolutely. More than happy to do that if I was over there. Yes, pull up this old white woman who, has been a who has been, family can be traced back 10 generations or whatever, absolutely, and waste the time of the authorities who are racial targeting. I'm not talking about those who are in threat, but each of us in every single way, we have a light within us that we can bring forward to step out of this, what is very much a safe zone, and start the path that we are meant to be on for this future. Shining a light on the path forward. And that comes from taking actions, whatever that may be, and only you can decide what it is. Taking actions, because steps are actions, to start us on this path to this higher vibration, this higher humanity, this higher everything. Okay. And that will mean walking away from what emotionally does not serve you. Let it go. Let it go. Know that it's still there if you want to come back to it. But this is very much about walking towards the new dawn, the new day, the new beginning, lighter, emotionally lighter. So very much about deciding what you want the future to look like and letting go of old stuff, whether it be physical, whether it be psychological, whether it be emotional, whether it be spiritual, whatever no longer serves in this new era going forward, because each and every one of us is a warrior in this, with the strength that we take with us. Okay, externally, we've got the Four of Swords. First and foremost, make sure you look after your own health, your mental health, your physical health to the best of your ability. And this may mean taking time out. Absolutely, take time out. I'm about to head out for a really long walk in the sun. Absolutely take time out for yourself to make sure you've got the energy, because internally, we are bringing the power. The feminine power, brutal truth, harsh reality, strategy. We've left the emotions behind or put them behind bars, and we are looking to the future. Internally, we are looking to the future that we want for humanity and the planet, everything that exists on the planet. But we need to, this can be taking time out to strategize. This can be looking after your physical health so that you can then implement whatever these strategies are. This is not the action being taken yet. This is internally. The internal work that we need to do, external work that we need to do. This can be looking after your own nest area first, because this is a ground up change, not a top down. Okay, will governance change to what the people want. Two of Pentacles, hopes and fears. Could go either way for every government. There are some difficult decisions to be made about which path forward, the what was or the what can be. So there will be some that make it and some that won't, and the ones that don't will then have to catch up, because this is change that's not holding back. Right, the outcome, the devil. Now, we need to be really careful of this energy, because this is the devil, you know. Change is really hard for a lot of people, which is why they fall into this propaganda, while they voluntarily stay in this tied up position, because change is scary for a lot. But we can either continue doing what is, and trust me, very seductive to continue doing what is. But if we continue down the same path, nothing changes. It is just more and more and more of the same, and if anything gets worse. We either can choose this path here, or we can choose this path here. And every single one of us needs to come down out of this, oh, I've got so many good ideas, but keeping them to yourself or sharing them just with immediate family. This is taking the brave steps to actually bring this future into being. Because if we don't, we will end up with the same old, very seductive, don't rock the boat, come down this way. Yeah, of course there's going to be midterm elections. Bullshit. Yeah, the seductive path. Or we can take the temperance path. Oh, love this contrast. Or we can take the higher path. Now, again, two, but this one is balanced. This one's unbalanced. This is balanced. This is the higher vibration, the angelic path, the path where everybody matters and every living thing matters, whether it be a stick insect or a giant oak tree. The path of the higher. And it will take action, but we've got strength on our side. This is about stepping forward and demanding action with passion, with messaging. spreading the message far and wide with that Knight of Wands, and looking at the world differently, bringing forward the light and looking at the world differently. Now, I know I'm preaching to the converted here, but I really do feel we've got the Ace of Cups, we've got the Three of Cups, we've got the Sun card, we've got the new beginning, we've got the Six of Wands, being seen, being heard, being rejoiced. We've got the Nine of Pentacles, choosing what is suitable for you, not what anybody else dictates to you, what you are instinctively drawn to, the opportunities that you are instinctively drawn to create this new world. It is ours to manifest. Now, it's not perfect. We've got the Seven of Wands there, which is about making sure you protect yourself, because there will be those that do not want to hear this message, and they will try and tear you down, because how dare somebody else succeed when I am sitting stewing in this energy. But it's going to happen whether they like it or not. But it is up to us to choose, with the Tower card, how we rebuild. We can't look at the past. We need to stop looking at the would've, should've, could've with this Four of Cups. We need to look at what is on the table in the here and now, that we can create magic going forward, and whether that's getting ideas from other countries or whatever. We need to look at instead of being paralyzed by, but if Biden, a bit of Harris, bit of Gore, but if, how far back do you go? Jimmy Carter? Do you go even further back than that? But if only. We are here now. We need to decide what we want our future to look like. And it's very much about letting go, with that Ten of Wands, letting go of whatever it is, whatever hill we were prepared to die on that is no longer suitable anymore. Let it go, put it down. We're on a new journey. And then we've got the Ten of Cups, and then we have actions having consequences. But it is up to us to get out of this stupor, this self-imposed restriction, to pick up the key to unlock the door to the future that we want. And there's the Ace of Swords. It's going to be fabulous, but again, we have to take action. We have to take action. We have to have strategy. We have to sit in truth and know that truth, brutal truth, can be harsh and really confronting truth. And we have to take action. Steps mean action. Find joy where you can, because there is so much joy out there to be had. Joy, emotional fulfillment as we move into this new energy. Yeah, I do. I think governments are going to, and when I'm talking about governments, I'm talking about democratic governments, not dictatorship governments, but they will have their turn. They will be dragged along as well. Yeah, I do. I think the governments I listed, I do actually honestly believe that they will. So this is the Star card, the Star of Hope and Healing, but this is also set your goals high, bathe in the light of the possibilities, and do not let them go. This is the Emperor. Can be the my way or the highway of the dictators, or this can simply be taking control of your own destiny. Because, oh gosh, look at these cards. Because we're at this new beginning. Absolutely. Ace of Wands. Third eye. New beginning. New messaging. New communications. New passion. New careers. And this is about deciding what future you want, stepping into your power and taking the steps to make it happen. And telling government how you want governance. You want universal health care. You want quality free education. You want the elderly to be looked after how they deserve to be looked after, with dignity, whether that's in their own homes or whether that's in a purpose-built setting. You want the police to be for the community, work with the community, to you want mental health programs, to help those. You want mental health and homeless and addiction programs. There's actually opening up in Australia, in Melbourne. I saw that 2 weekends ago, where they have taken an old office block building that was abandoned, no longer in use. The local government, the council, refurbished that building to house homeless and studio apartments. So they weren't big, but they had a bed and they had a television and a seat, a couch, and they had a little kitchenette, and so they had independence. But it wasn't just the room. They had all the social help facilities available to them as well. They had a rooftop garden where people could come together and grow vegetables and get in the sun and the soil and the rain. It was amazing. But what they also had on that was that it was a maximum stay of a year. So they worked on the theory that if you got all the help that you needed, that within a year you should be able to stand on your own 2 feet. And loved it. Absolutely loved it. And we need more of that. So I'm going to leave that there. I know I'm preaching to the choir. Now I'm preaching to the converted. But I'm actually really positive about that. That the governments will step up, but the people have to demand it. They have to demand what they want, not allow themselves to be sucked into the propaganda of the division and the hate, which is just vile bile that is being spewed by certain elements because they know how to plug in. This is about a future of compassion and caring and looking after. And that's what we as the people need to demand, and we need to step into and lean into. And I know that that's how it's going to evolve. But the path to get there is up to us, whether we take the direct line or we take the long, convoluted dirt track. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Love to you all. I shall see you on Monday. I'll be doing my comments and stuff over the weekend. I'll probably be posting some stuff. Whew, but hold on, put the sunglasses on, go for a walk outside. Love to you all. Take care.